Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about everyone being useful. When the thin controller said that his bicycle's 2 wheels were best, we all disagreed. We all thought we had the best number of wheels. Bertie thought his 4 wheels were best. I thought my 6 wheels were best. Spencer had 20 wheels. But he ran into trouble when he tried to take the Duke and Duchess to Callan Castle. I tried to help, but the track was blocked, so Bertie came to the rescue. But one of Bertie's 4 wheels burst a tyre, and so Harold quickly flew the Duke and Duchess to the castle. This proved it didn't matter how many wheels we have. We could each help the Duke and Duchess on their journey. Everyone has a strength and can be really useful. We just need to find that special thing we're good at. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about being honest. When I caused an accident at Brendam Docks, I didn't want to get into trouble. So I blamed an engine called Geoffrey. But Geoffrey didn't exist. I'd made him up so he could take the blame for causing the accident instead of me. But that made the problem even worse, because everyone wanted to meet Geoffrey. So I hid in a tunnel and pretended to be Geoffrey. Then there was trouble. Spencer came rushing into the tunnel and nearly crashed into me. Lying about my accident had made things worse. The Fat Controller told me that everyone makes mistakes, but that it's important to tell the truth and own up to them. That's why being honest is the right thing to do. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about being responsible. When the Fat Controller made James and me responsible for taking everyone to the Dry Old football match, he asked us to work together. But then we got into a silly argument over which team was the best, the Reds or the Blues. James and I were so busy hurrying to the match, we forgot about the important jobs the Fat Controller had given us. Then there was trouble. The football match hadn't started. James hadn't picked up the Barrow team, and I hadn't picked up the referee. Luckily, Percy saved the day. He brought both the team and the referee to the football ground. James and I realized the important thing wasn't which team was best, it was making sure everyone got to the match on time. That's why, when you're given a job to do, it's important to take responsibility for doing it properly. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about being careful and not rushing things. When the Fat Controller asked Percy to take the very important sheep to the spring fair, Percy was so worried about being late that he wasn't very careful. He bumped the livestock wagon and made a big hole in it, but Percy was in such a hurry he didn't notice. Every time Percy stopped, more of the sheep jumped out through the hole. And by the time Percy got to the fair, there were no sheep left in his wagon at all. Luckily, I found Percy's sheep, and I took them to the fair. Percy realized he'd been rushing so much he hadn't been very careful. If Percy had slowed down, he wouldn't have had an accident, and the sheep wouldn't have escaped. That's why it's important to be careful and not rush when you have an important job to do. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about making sure you tell someone when you're going somewhere. When Hero had an accident and needed new parts, I decided to help find him some. I thought if I went back to the woods where I first met Hero, I may find some of his old parts. But I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Then there was trouble. The old rails had given way, and I got stuck in the mud, and no one knew where I was to come and help me. I tried to call for help, but no one could hear me. Luckily, Harold saw my steam, and soon my friends came to rescue me. I realized that because I hadn't told anyone where I was going, no one knew where I was. I was very lucky that Harold saw me. That's why it's always important to tell someone where you are going. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about working as a team. It's usually Rocky who comes to the rescue when one of us gets derailed. But when Rocky came off the tracks, no one could agree how to help him. Everyone wanted to be the one who rescued Rocky, and everyone thought they could do it without help from anyone else. But Rocky is a big, heavy crane, and no matter how we tried, none of us could lift him on our own. Then Rocky told us that we could do it if we all worked together. So we all worked as a team. Rocky was heavy, but eventually we managed to get him back on the tracks. When we worked together, we did something none of us could do on our own. That's why working as a team is a great thing to do. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about being determined. When Mavis had to go to the diesel works for repairs, the Fat Controller asked Den to do her work at the quarry. But when Den tried to organize the troublesome trucks, they were, well, very troublesome. Toby and Henrietta told Den he needed to be firm with the trucks. That was how Mavis did it. Even though it was a hard job, Den didn't give up. He took a deep breath and he showed those trucks that he was in charge. Den soon had everything under control, even the troublesome trucks. And when Mavis came back, she thanked Den for doing such a great job. That's why being determined and not giving up helps you get things done. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about 2 wrongs not making a right. When some special visitors with cameras came to the Arsdale Railway, Bert was pleased when they wanted to take pictures of him. But when the visitors drove through some muddy water and splashed him, Bert got very cross, and he decided to get his own back. They had splashed him, so Bert thought he would splash them back. When the small controller found out what Bert had done, he wasn't happy. He sent Bert back to his shed. At the sheds, the visitors told Bert they were very sorry they'd splashed him and that it had been an accident. They helped Bert get clean again. Bert realized that by trying to get his own back on the visitors, he hadn't made things better. He'd only made things worse. So remember, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about how being little doesn't mean you can't do big things. When Skiff heard there was a bad storm coming, he wanted to do his part and make sure everyone was safe. But Duck told him only big engines could help in the storm. Joe had anchored Skiff on the harbour front, but the wind was so strong, it blew Skiff's sail loose. Then his anchor rope snapped. The wind pushed Skiff down the track and onto a fallen tree. Skiff was trapped. Then there was more trouble. Skiff saw Duck and Oliver coming down the tracks. He needed to warn them about the tree, or there would be a terrible accident. Skiff didn't give up and managed to pull his sail free. Duck and Oliver saw him and stopped just in time. Skiff had saved them. So remember, just because you're small doesn't mean you can't do big things. Hello, everyone. Today, I learnt a very important lesson about not giving up when something goes wrong. Connor is a very fast engine, but one day, when he was traveling very quickly, his coupling rod came loose and he nearly derailed. Connor was fixed at the steamworks, and Victor told him that now he was repaired, he could go full speed again. But Connor was still worried, so he decided to travel really slowly so he wouldn't have any more accidents. But that made him late and his passengers angry. Stephen told Connor that back in his day, engines often broke down, but they didn't give up no matter what happened. Connor realized Stephen was right. Although he'd had an accident, he should keep doing his best. So, to make sure he wasn't late again, Connor raced at full speed to the next station. And that's why you shouldn't give up, even if something went wrong the first time.